Hi guys, rest of the book and then we're done. Two sides, too many. First off, the judges had all the dogs run in a line in the same direction to examine how well they moved. This showed off Pierre's perfect poodle side beautifully. The judges looked pleased. The crowd roared its approval. I can do this, thought Amelia Bedelia. I am doing this. Announcers named Bob and Melanie described the action for the fans. Their voices filled the arena. Bob: Melanie, this last group of dogs is what we've been all waiting for. They're the cream of the crop. Melanie: That's right, Bob. Any dog here could easily take home the trophy. Bob says, Look at the bloodhound. I'd hate to have him on my trail. Melanie says, That tiny Maltese is a gem. I wish my hair looked like that good, Bob. Bob says, We all do, Melanie. What a cutie. Melanie says, Sherlock is being followed by the Jack Russell Terrier, another favorite of the crowd. Bob says, Listen to that applause. That's a little dog with tons of personality. Melanie says, Here comes another star, Pierre, the French Standard Poodle. I remember him from last year. Bob says, There's nothing standard about Pierre. He towers over that tiny Yorkshire Terrier. Melanie says, That Yorkie is baby. Adorable. Bob says, Now the judges are having them reverse direction, showing off the other side of these champions to this very enthusiastic crowd. The audience began to applaud again, but gradually the applause petered out. The crowd buzzed. Something was different. Something was wrong. Up in the stands, Charlie's mom appeared to be the most perplexed of all. She looked at Amelia Bedelia's parents. Where's Pierre? She asked. I can see Amelia Bedelia, said Amelia Bedelia's father, but I still can't see Pierre. I must need new glasses. I see Amelia Bedelia too, said her mom, but I can't see Pierre either. I must finally need glasses. No, you don't, said Charlie's mom. She was looking through binoculars. Your eyes are just fine. Pierre has been replaced by a black dog. Melanie says, Bob, the judges are confused. Bob says, So am I, Melanie. Melanie says, Now the judges are conferring, scratching their heads, shaking their heads. They're counting. Looks like one is missing. Bob says, A judge is missing? Melanie says, No, Bob, a dog is missing. Bob says, Good grief, it appears Pierre the poodle has vanished. He has been replaced by a large black dog. Melanie says, Let's see what the judges do, Bob. This is what the judges did. They directed Amelia Bedelia to walk back and forth to and fro. The crowd gasped, then fell totally silent. Amelia Bedelia smiled and patted Pierre on the head. At first, Amelia Bedelia's parents didn't know what to think. When their daughter turned the poodle one way, he was white and fluffy. When she turned him the other way, he was black and curly. Oh, said Amelia Bedelia's father, I get it. One side is a standard poodle, and the other side is a poodle that has been stepped in. Amelia Bedelia's mother laughed harder than she had ever laughed in her life. At last, her father said, You laughed at one of my jokes. Pierre, my man, you rock, yelled Eric. He jumped up and began to clap and chant Pierre's name. Pierre, Pierre, Pierre. Pierre, Pierre, shouted Amelia Bedelia's parents. Pierre, shouted Charlie's mother. Pierre, 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 the audience chanted. Amelia Bedelia could see Charlie peeking out from behind the curtain. She beckoned him to come and join her, and when he did, Pierre jumped up and licked his face. Then Pierre wagged his tail and wouldn't stop wagging. The crowd cheered and chanted even louder. Pierre, Pierre, Pierre. Chapter 13. And baby makes 3. Finally, the cheers of the crowd died down enough for the judges to hear themselves talk. And talk they did. Their tongues were wagging faster than Pierre's tail. At last, the judges reached a decision. The head judge spoke into a microphone, and his voice boomed across the arena. In the history of this dog show, We have never had a situation so unusual or a dog as unusual as Pierre. The crowd cheered, yeah, yay! As remarkable as Pierre's appearance is, it is against the rules of the show to change the natural color of a dog's coat, even half of it. That is why we have disqualified Pierre the Poodle. Boo! Boo! The crowd booed. However, it is our decision that such an unusual presentation deserves some unusual recognition. Therefore, we are giving Pierre a special award for most original grooming. The crowd applauded loudly as the judges shook hands with Charlie and Amelia Bedelia. When Pierre offered them his paw, each judge shook it and bowed. The crowd roared its approval. Baby won Best in Show. Here she is. Baby won the trophy. Amelia Bedelia felt fine about that, since she thought Baby was the cutest dog in the world and had thought that since the first time she laid eyes on him. Baby may have been awarded the trophy, but there was no doubt who the true star was. Pierre was not mobbed after the show. Amelia Bedelia and Charlie took turns having their pictures taken with Pierre and his fans. And since Pierre had two sides, everyone wanted two pictures. Cameras and phones clicked and snapped until you'd have thought a movie star had moved to town. You know, Charlie, said Amelia Bedelia's dad after everyone had been introduced officially, they say every dog has his day. I've heard that, said Charlie. Well, continued her dad, even though Pierre didn't win Best in Show, this day and night belongs to Pierre. And you too, Charlie, said Amelia Bedelia. You're both the best. Thanks, Amelia Bedelia, said Charlie. I think I owe it all to you. Everyone was too excited to go home, so they stopped by Pete's diner for his 2-for-1 treats and had a little party. Pete let Pierre park under the table again because it was such a special night. He even brought him a bowl filled with water. Slurp. Chapter 14. Finally, the answer. Amelia Bedelia's parents were true to their word. On Sunday afternoon, they all got in the car to go get a dog. Are we going to the pet store by the mall? Asked Amelia Bedelia. No, said her dad. I thought we'd stop by the animal shelter for a dog. They're by the pound. By the pound? Said Amelia Bedelia. Is that how you buy a dog, like potatoes or butter or something? Of course not, said her mother. The town pound is where they keep lost or abandoned animals. The Adopt-A-Pet shelter tries to find them homes. That makes more sense, said Amelia Bedelia. If you bought a Great Dane by the pound, you'd have to be a millionaire. They don't sell these dogs at all, said their father. They give them away. For free, said Amelia Bedelia. That's a better deal than 2-for-1 ice cream specials at Pete's Diner. Actually, said her dad, they're not quite free. You have to pay for their shots and a dog license. Daddy, you're always teasing me, said Amelia Bedelia. Dogs don't need license plates. No dog can run fast enough to get a speeding ticket. As they pulled up to the shelter, Amelia Bedelia realized something. After all the different kinds of dogs she had seen and walked and cared for, she still had not decided what kind of dog would be best for her. She could hear the dogs barking inside the shelter. She wondered if one was calling to her. Amelia Bedelia and her parents met the director of the shelter, a lady named Wiggins. She was only too happy to help them. I'm retired now, she said, but I was a vet. You were in the Army or Navy or Air Force, said Amelia Bedelia. Dr. Wiggins laughed. None of those above. I was a veterinarian for 30 years. Sweetie, said Amelia Bedelia's mom, we're going to wait here while you choose. This is your dog. You ought to decide for yourself which one is right for you. How will I know, said Amelia Bedelia as tears began to well up in her eyes. What if I make the wrong choice? Don't worry, honey, said Dr. Wiggins. You can trust yourself. You'll feel which one is right for you. I'll help. Now, let's go meet some dogs. She's terrified. Going to do this without her parents. As soon as they entered the kennel, the noise became deafening. Dogs of all shapes and sizes and colors wanted Amelia Bedelia's attention. Dogs were barking and yipping and yapping. They were turning around and around to show themselves off. They were wagging their tails so eagerly. Amelia Bedelia thought their tails might fly off their rear ends all at once. As she walked down the long row of cages, Amelia Bedelia stopped to meet every single dog. All of the dogs acted like they would love to go home with Amelia Bedelia. All except for one. This dog was just sitting there, alert but not bouncy, interested but not excited. It was adorable. It tilted its head to one side to look at Amelia Bedelia. There she is with all them dogs. Woof, 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 woof. It's really noisy in there. Amelia Bedelia tilted her head and looked right back at it. I've seen a lot of dogs lately, but I have never seen one like that, said Amelia Bedelia, pointing at the dog. What kind is it? That dog is a mixture, Dr. Wiggins said. A mixture of what? Said Amelia Bedelia. She's a mixture of her mother and her father, said Dr. Wiggins. Gosh, said Amelia Bedelia, that sounds like me. You and everyone else in the world, said Dr. Wiggins. We are all mutts when you come right down to it. She's just a mutt? Asked Amelia Bedelia. Just a mutt? Asked Dr. Wiggins. Why, a mutt can be the most wonderful dog in the world. With a mutt like this one, chances are you'll get the best of everything. The courage of a terrier, the friendliness of a spaniel, the brains of a poodle, the affection of a retriever, the loyalty of a hound, all rolled into one. Wow, said Amelia Bedelia, I never thought of it like that. Dr. Wiggins opened the cage door. Amelia Bedelia kneeled down to get a closer look, and the first thing that dog did was to lick her cheek. Just once. Amelia Bedelia sat back and blinked her eyes like Sleeping Beauty being awakened by a kiss. This is the one, said Amelia Bedelia. This is the dog for me. Good choice, said Dr. Wiggins. She's a sweetheart. How adorable, said Amelia Bedelia's mother when Amelia Bedelia and Dr. Wiggins returned to the office with the dog. You two look like you were made for each other. What's her name? Asked Amelia Bedelia's father. Finally, said Amelia Bedelia. It did take a while, said her mom. And it's been quite a saga, said her dad. But you got a dog at last. What are you going to call her? Finally, said Amelia Bedelia. I am going to call her finally Bedelia because I finally got what I wanted, a dog. After they had officially adopted finally, everyone headed back to the car. Amelia Bedelia's father opened the back door, finally jumped onto the back seat like she had done it 1,000,000 times before, and they headed for home. Just so you know, said her dad, glancing in the rearview mirror, we're still working on that baby brother for you. Or baby sister, said her mother. Take your time, said Amelia Bedelia. I've got my own baby now. Amelia Bedelia rolled down her window. There they are in the car. Finally came over to sit on Amelia Bedelia's lap. She poked her head out the window. Amelia Bedelia couldn't wait to introduce her to Charlie, Diana, and Eric. She was sure finally would be Pierre's best friend. Amelia Bedelia stuck her head out the window too. The breeze blew Finely's ears back, tickling Amelia Bedelia's face. Her hair mixed with Finely's furry ears until you couldn't tell where Amelia Bedelia ended and Finely began. That is the end of our book. You guys know the drill. Draw me a picture, write me out a little statement to go with it, and you guys stay safe, wash your hands, and I'll see you guys in a little bit.